So how do we do that? Is on the Facebook and Twitter, the main channels, we post things that we, I say we, it's really just one person show that, as I mentioned. I look at an authentic stories. Authentic stories and inspiring experiences, those are the really important kind of criteria that we look at before we post anything. And on average day, you might end up with only 3 or 4 different posts that that will touch with both reflective and reflexive audiences, meaning those that you just see a visual and comment on it versus a post that would read a story that somebody would then read. That's what I post with more a reflective type of engagement. So main channels, Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is one that we use to build a community. Twitter we use to primarily get messages out. An average age for Twitter users or Twitter followers per now is about 40 years old, 43 years old. An average age of Facebook is about 24. The demographics split between 51% female and 49% male. So that's a kind of really broad. I have all kind of data and information that if you'd like, I would be more than happy to share with you. So then beyond Facebook and Twitter, we have channels such as Google+, LinkedIn. Those 2 channels we just starting to really use for specific purpose. Like for instance, Google+, we use the Google Hangouts. It's a really interesting, a creative way to connect with the media outlets, to set up a really quick conferencing, which work well for us because part of our function is not only tell the Cornell story, but really connect with other message amplifiers out there, everybody from PBS to you name it. So the second tier, so it's a Google Plus and LinkedIn. We don't have a large community there, but we use as a specific tools, as I said. LinkedIn, I think has enormous potential, particularly to connecting students and successful alums to really figure out how to tell the story of or the career path for a student, how your life will look like in the future by looking at some of the successful stories that alumni might tell us. Then we have Pinterest and Foursquare. Those tools also at the infancy, they're pretty early stages. Pinterest we use primarily to connect with the news media outlets. It's an interesting way for us to supply high-resolution images, for instance, to Huffington Post or Associated Press. So we use those channels perhaps not in a conventional ways that they were originally intended. I understand that we'll have a Q&A session, and I'll be more than happy to drill to any one of those tools in more in depth and maybe talk to specific scenarios or questions that you might have. Foursquare is one tool that I'm really excited about, and particularly how it connects to your subject, sustainability. I think it's important as we try to communicate to the world out there what are we doing at Cornell in terms of sustainability. I think it's important to understand how will a campus digital cloud will look like a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. And tools such as Foursquare presents an interesting opportunity. Augmented reality, for example. Each building at Cornell, we cover about 400 buildings, if I'm not mistaken. We have a data, facilities have a data that describe everything that the building is using in terms of utility. There's electricity, there's water, there's all kind of information that I think you can, as message ambassadors, turn into a positive storytelling. And a few years from now, tools such as Foursquare and augmented reality will enable us to be able to have a snapshot around any building and be able to see what's really happening at that building in terms of its energy draw and so forth. So there are all kind of trajectories there. So I'm trying to run really fast, so I'll go to my cheat list. So I talked about 3 tiers of social network. In addition to those 6 mentioned, we are actively looking at any other new media platform where we find Cornell-related audience that may include Weibo in China, or Renren, or a Yelp, or Instagram, or Tumblr, some of the basic tools that we have not been able to take advantage of, but we're actively looking at those platforms. So, the Nest app, for instance, as sustainability pioneers, you have an opportunity to really change the behavior. It's pretty cool that you're actually changing the behavior of people, and you're educating everybody around that there's a new and more exciting, effective, and efficient ways to live. And I think it's really cool. I often talk to my kids, and they tell me how much they think about throwing stuff around, wasting. That mentality is very different. It's radically different from mentality that I grew up in, 15, 20 years ago. So you have that opportunity to tell people about applications such as Nest, which allows you to control the temperature environment at home to thermostat, and there's an array of others. And I think I talked over 10 minutes.
And I would say that really we see it as kind of more of a content strategy, because what we're looking at is how information kind of flows through the social media profile, but also the website and the blog and all of sustainability at Cornell's kind of online properties. So Scott and I are from a business called Think Topography, and we were involved with the early planning stages of the website, in fact. So we helped the team kind of think about why they needed a blog and why their website should function in the way it does. And so a lot of the themes that the website convey were determined in these early planning meetings. And the most important kind of central theme that we wanted to put forth with the website was that Cornell is a living laboratory. That's a theme that you might have been hearing about today at the summit. That the idea that if you can learn about composting here at Cornell, and you can learn about water conservation, you can learn about waste management, all these are things that you can actually take forth into the world, and places where you go where they don't have a composting program, you can be like, oh, well, we did that at Cornell, and here's the way it used to work at the university. So this concept of you learn about how these sustainability initiatives can be implemented in an institution or in a workplace, you can actually take that out into the world. And so we really wanted to create a website and really a messaging presence around that idea of Cornell being a living laboratory. In addition to that, there was a lot of work that was being done with all of the teams about creating what were called the SMART objectives, which I hope everyone is familiar with, or if you're not, they're available. But the SMART objectives were what you actually hope to accomplish for water conservation, or in waste management, or in energy management. There were these SMART goals, and the SMART goals had tactics that you could use to achieve your goals. They had a definition of the audience and the behavior changes you wanted to drive with those audience. There were these SMART goals that were put forth. And the content strategy that we put together really tried to incorporate the idea of enforcing and helping to promote these SMART goals, as well as keeping it all within the context of Cornell being a living laboratory. So Scott and I are going to talk a little bit about some strategies and tactics you can use with the blog and social media website. But really, the important part to remember is that all you have to reinforce those two principal kind of areas of Cornell as a living laboratory and the SMART objectives of each team. So the content strategy that we put together, it really uses the blog as kind of a clearinghouse for information. We want to bring people back to the blog as much as possible, because we do some work in order to make it so that when you're in a blog post, you can actually learn more about sustainability initiatives. We wanted to use the blog as like an attractor for audience members, so that once they're there, they can be like, oh, well, what's going on, let's just take back the tap initiative, or what is this